Gentlemen, how are you? I am doing well. This is Heather, and today we are playing Stand By. This is a great game. First off, actually, if you didn't see the warning at the start, this game does have a lot of flashing lights and sort of techno colors, so if you are prone to seizures, please keep that in mind as you are watching this video. Stand By is a game, sort of an action platformer, speedrunning type game. It's made by a developer called NoClip. It's just two people working on that team, and it's great. This game is really good. It's also really hard, but we'll talk about it. So I'm running around trying to get through these obstacles. I can't touch any of the red markers. If I touch the red, I have to go back to the start of the stage, except I can do it when I'm sliding. So when I'm sliding here, I can touch that. So I have to like slide and shoot at the same time, and all sorts of stuff. I can slide over here, jump up, and maybe shoot a little bit, slam down, jump up. I'm gonna wanna slide and shoot again, jump. And it's really, really cool. The movement feels very fluid. Although I do recommend playing this on a controller. You can play it on the keyboard, but it really requires a lot of refined movement. At least I find so. A controller is the way to go. I used my my Xbox Elite controller, which is amazing because you can see right there, I get tossed around like a beanbag because sometimes when you commit to a movement action in this game, you're sort of stuck with it. So when I was jumping up off of those blue panels, which make me jump in a certain direction, I am slamming into things, and when I slam into certain things, particularly things that are like on an angle, the game sort of automatically assumes that I'm going to bounce right down and go down those, which means that I am caught in this sort of movement loop. So I need to sort of think a couple steps ahead as I'm moving at breakneck speeds. You can see here, like that right there. All that was happening there was I was pushing right on my control stick. But because I was so close to the red on the wall, I was moving so fast, so obviously I would kind of be close to it to begin with right before I stopped my momentum and sort of caught myself when I slammed down. What happens is I move just like a fraction, just a little fraction, because when you move even just a little bit to the side in this game, you move quite a bit. So I hit the red wall and I had to start over. There are a lot of moments when you're playing this game where it can seem frustrating, so like, let's see if we can show it off eventually. But yeah, maybe I'll find a safe place to stop and kind of show you how slippy slidey it is. Because these initial stages are fine, and actually this part here is okay too. Double jumps are okay, but you can only jump in those zones. You have to jump inside those boxes. So it's not perfect, but you kind of get there screwed up there. If you are not really confident in your movement in this game, you're gonna run into a lot of trouble. Right there, I'm bouncing off. Actually, this is a good spot. So like, watch. This is me moving to the side, back and forth, back and forth. You move a fair amount, and oh crap, I just fell. You move a fair amount. So like when you are sort of devoting yourself to movement, like there, I was just moving too fast and I jumped too far. But my jump, I don't have as much control over that. That's all kind of dictated by my momentum. So depending on how fast I'm really progressing in this game, I could run into some problems because I'm not able to, like, me as a player react to what's happening. And then also like my character, like right there, I jumped too far just because I sort of misjudged that. This is a kind of a tricky one. Let's see. Okay, let's not touch that. Let's see if we can go up here. Yes. Slam down, and what do we have? Oh, right on the edge of a pit. Okay. So there are two things that are sort of happening in this game. You sort of have to react in the moment as a player, as you would in any game. But because you have sort of these really punctuated and pronounced movement patterns and controls. So like I jumped there, there's no way I'm getting out of that. I can't control myself mid-jump or anything. Once I jumped off that wall, I'm moving in that direction. I just did it again because I'm a goofball. The thing is that like I have to be really careful about my movements. I'm getting hit on that like little thing there. You can see like when I jump off that wall, I travel a fair amount of distance. I can't really pull back and be like, whoa, I want to stop. The game's just like, no, you want to freaking go. And I'm like, oh, I guess we're doing that. Like here, I want to slam down because otherwise I drop back down again and there's no point to it. Just fall down here. See, like that's basic movement. That makes sense to me now. But here, like, all that jumping's weird. Timing slides is weird. This right here, it looks like... Okay, let's try that over. So what's gonna happen here is, like, if I'm not moving fast enough and I'm not even hitting jump at the right time, you can also mistime it like that. Like, there's just this big massive wall, right? But I have to hit jump coming off of that slope, because then I will be able to jump up and hit the dash pad that will bring me up here, which I messed up hitting the slope there. But the thing about that is that dash pad launches you forward. It launches you forward super, super fast. Because of that, if you don't find a way to like halt your momentum and sort of reassess for a little second or two, like you'll watch. So I'll stop here, right? Oh, or I'll do the opposite and do the thing that I was gonna try to avoid. Your momentum carries so much in this game that you're like, no, like hold my beer, I fucking got this. And then turns out you don't at all. So you have to, it's a lot of trial and error, but I can see where this might be frustrating for some people who aren't used to really precise platformers or kind of faster moving games, because the escalation, like the challenge escalation in this game, like the curve, oh, messed up there, can I get back up? The curve in this game is insane. It starts off pretty self-explanatory and then it just goes. Like this tunnel right here, I can't slide that whole distance. I have to make those jumps. But the corridor is like really, really small, and finding the right moments to jump can be tricky. Like, it feels like it should be like an easy rhythm to maintain. I just ran into a wall because I'm a dummy. Like boom, boom. But then again, I'm moving too fast, and if you're off by like a small fraction, you're hurtling into a wall, you're falling like into a pit, you're getting zapped by such and such a thing. It's a really intense game. I think a lot of people will appreciate playing it, but I can definitely see it alienating some people who maybe weren't quite expecting something as difficult. On the other hand, a game like this requires a lot of technical skill, and I would love to see like speedruns of this. It's sort of built with that in mind. It gives you your time at the end of a level, so you can kind of keep track of your PB, and I'm sure that like the individual records for this game will get insane, and then like a really fast-paced, I can't do this wall right now, a really fast-paced version of, do we have it? Yes! Okay, cool. Ooh! Okay, good. A fast version, there are lasers. Like, just a normal speedrun of this, like a 100% or any percent. I don't know how the game structures itself yet. I haven't really gotten that far. I think those will be amazing, and I think that this game is just as much fun to watch as it is to play, in the sense that, like, the game itself, when you're playing it, it's not... I don't feel myself hitting a groove as much as I do find myself hitting lasers all the time. No, I don't find myself hitting a groove the same way that I do, like, playing Doom, or, like... I don't know, like, that's the one that jumped into my head because I'm so used to, like, moving around and jumping to monsters. Specifically New Doom, there's a great cadence to that game. A totally different game than this, right? But, like, you can talk about game feel in the sense that games definitely have certain ebbs and flows to them. This game feels slippery, it feels uncontrolled, there's something cool and celebratory and joyous and exciting about that, but also, that can make the playing of it pretty frustrating at times, and sort of finding the right moments to move, it sometimes feels like you're just getting lucky. Like right there, like I made it past this first hazard, and I have to get through this intense laser corridor, and like finding the right moment to do that is like, I don't know how. And also they're like, oh, I want to jump a little bit coming off that slope. If I jump at the wrong time, I hit that corner. Like, the designers of this game know their mechanics and know sort of the limitations of player inputs really, really well, because they know exactly where to put like the most frustrating, the most beautifully frustrating sort of challenges, right? And these different obstacles that get in your way. I really appreciate it. It's smart design, but it's also incredibly frustrating. I spent a lot of time last night playing through this game and just like, oh my gosh, just trying to get used to it at first so that I could kind of show you guys off a little bit more of the levels and stuff. And like my first 30 minutes with this game, I was like, I hate this thing. I want to fight it in like a bar fight, and like have my friend Seabass kick its ass. But eventually you get used to it. There's still a lot of frustrations because it's so punishing about like even small mistakes, right? It's a very demanding game. But when you do achieve success, it feels very good. But I do feel that maybe watching people would be just as good as playing through some of it to a certain extent. At least high-level play, right? Like, it's super fun to get through things and to surpass your own limits and to figure out your own challenges. That's one of the great things about games. It's one of the great things about sports. It's one of the great games about sort of any sort of really active pursuit, intellectual or physical or otherwise, is finding your limits and sort of surpassing them. And I think each level of this game does that really well, where there's like a very clear, steep and important challenge escalation that happens. And you sort of, either by trial and error or by the seat of your pants, make your way through it. And it definitely feels like you're achieving something. And I'm not always big on, achievements or like positive feedback or reinforcement feedback in games, but it feels really good here. It feels very appropriate. It's a really fun game. Standby is really cool. I hope you guys like it. I think there's a demo that I can link to in the description below, so I hope you guys check that out. Otherwise, I think will